See Nicki Minaj losing her mind.
Nicki Minaj just accused Jay-Z of owing her $200 million, called him a child predator, linked him to very dangerous men, and Roc Nation responded with a $5 billion cease and desist. Then she went from dissing Trump to being his #1 fan. So what the hell happened? From collaborators to enemies. Now look, to really understand how deep this beef goes, we gotta rewind the clock real quick. Back in the day, Nicki and Hov were actually cool, like legitimately cool. In 2010, Nicki absolutely bodied her verse on Kanye West's Monster. You know the one. That joint had everybody talking, and it put Nicki in a whole different category. She shared stages with Jay-Z at major events, performed at his home and home concert with Eminem at Yankee Stadium, and even showed up at the 2012 BET Awards rocking with the whole crew. And check this out. Nicki herself said Jay-Z was one of her biggest influences. Peep what she said when asked about it.
Now, you've also said that Jay-Z, Foxy Brown, and Lil Wayne were some of your biggest influences when you were coming up. What did each of them have that you wanted to emulate?
Jay-Z, business savvy. Foxy Brown, immaculate delivery. Lil Wayne, trendsetter.
So Nicki was really looking up to this man, studying his moves, taking notes on how to be a mogul in this industry. But here's the thing about putting folks on a pedestal. When they fall off that pedestal, the crash hits different. And fam, what a lot of people don't know is that every major label passed on Nicki Minaj before she blew up. And when I say every label, I mean every label. Peep what she had to say about that situation.
Every label passed up on me. Every record company passed up on me. Every crew, you know, like I'm from New York. Jay's crew and 50's crew didn't sign me. You know, I wasn't signed to Nas, and you know, I wasn't signed to anybody, you know.
So from jump, there was already some type of way Nicki felt about not getting that support from the New York legends. She had to go to Lil Wayne and the Cash Money crew down in New Orleans to finally get her shot. And that dynamic, that feeling of being overlooked by her own city's royalty, that's something that probably been simmering for years, fam. Now, let's talk about where this beef really starts cooking, because this is where the dollars and cents come into play. In 2015, Jay-Z launched Tidal. Remember that whole streaming service situation? Nicki Minaj was one of the artist partners with a reported 3% equity stake in the company. She was at that famous launch event, posing with Jay-Z, Beyonce, Madonna, Daft Punk, Kanye, all the biggest names in music, standing elbow to elbow, talking about how they were gonna revolutionize the streaming game and make sure artists got paid properly. Now, here's where things get spicy. According to Nicki, she promoted Tidal heavily, second only to Beyonce herself, but claims she was never fairly compensated for her efforts. Fast forward to 2021, and Jay-Z sells Tidal to Square, that's Jack Dorsey's company, for a whopping $32 million. And what did Nicki allegedly get? According to her, she got a phone call offering her just $1 million to settle everything because supposedly they made no money on the deal. She straight up called it a scam. Fam said they were trying to give her hush money to keep quiet about the whole situation, and she wasn't having it. Now, peep what some folks in the industry had to say about this Tidal situation. Speaking of disrespect, have you seen Nicki Minaj and her...
I'll tell you this, I have no idea about their business, but if someone owed me $200 million, then I would be in court, not on X. And I guarantee you, if she ever took that to court, that would be a huge story.
So that's different. And we haven't heard too many people talk out about it, but apparently, like, what Nicki is alleging is that Jay-Z owes her tens of millions of dollars. Simply because of when she had the exclusive deal with Tidal. I don't know if you remember that, when Jay-Z was coming out, this is like 2015 or some shit. Jay-Z was coming out with Madonna and Daft Punk and all the biggest artists, Beyonce, Kanye, everybody was elbow to elbow walking out like, we're fighting these streaming services. We're gonna create our own platform. We're gonna pay our artists more. Tidal flopped, respectfully. He sold Tidal, but he promised, apparently, allegedly, all those artists was promised a stake in the company. I'm not too sure what the stake was. I think it was like a 3% which a lot, right? That's a lot, especially when you talk about hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, you know what I'm saying? 3% of $1 billion is without like 30 million or some shit like that. My 3%, I'm crashing out too. You feel me? Like, I ain't mad at her crashing out on Jay-Z. That's what they situation. And so when you break it down, if Nicki really did have a 3% stake in something that sold for $32 million, we're talking about potentially $9 million or more. And if the initial deal was worth $1 billion, like some folks estimated, that's $30 million we're talking about. No wonder Shorty is heated. By July 2025, Nicki had escalated her demands to somewhere between $100 million and $200 million, calling it karmic debt. She even said she planned to use part of that money for her Student of the Game charity to fund fans' education. So in her mind, Jay-Z ain't just hurting her, he's hurting the Barbs too. Now, if you thought the title situation was enough to make Nicki go off, hold up, because things really started escalating in September 2024. That's when the NFL announced that Kendrick Lamar will be performing at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, a show produced by none other than Roc Nation. And Nicki, she was not having it. See, Nicki felt like her mentor Lil Wayne should have got that spot. The Super Bowl is happening in New Orleans, Wayne's hometown, and in Nicki's eyes, there was no reason why to go to the South shouldn't be on that stage representing his city. She went on social media and absolutely tore into Jay-Z, accusing him of denying Wayne opportunity because of personal vendettas. She said Ho's hatred for Birdman, Drake, and Nicki was the reason he was punishing Lil Wayne. And that's when folks started realizing this wasn't just about title anymore. This was personal. This was about ego, about power, about who controls what in the industry. The meltdown, the Grammys, and the conspiracies. So about
She did a whole list.
She said, "Dear hashtag Jay-Z, you ruined hip hop, you ruined football, you ruined basketball, you ruined touring, you ruined Instagram, you ruined Twitter. The jig is up. All of this is alleged and for entertainment purposes."
2025, Nicki wasn't just going after Jay-Z, she was coming for the whole Roc Nation operation. When the lawsuit against Megan Thee Stallion and Roc Nation by Megan's former cameraman Emilio Garcia was allowed to proceed, alleging discrimination in a hostile work environment, Nicki used that as ammunition. She mocked Megan, referenced her diss track Bigfoot, and went in on Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez, who she called Desiree Rat, for getting a Trump pardon back in 2021. She accused Roc Nation of employing bots to manipulate conversations online, blackballing artists who don't fall in line, and in her words, ruining hip-hop, basketball, and football. Nicki even started listing out every artist she claims Jay-Z has had issues with over the years. Nas, DMX, J.O. Tupac, Future, Bobby Shmurda, Mobb D, LL Cool J, Drake, Lil Wayne, Birdman, Emil, Tell Myriad, Eve, and Dipset. That's a long list, fam. And then in October 2025, Nicki dropped a bombshell that had everybody shook. She announced she was scrapping her planned 2026 album and potentially retiring from music altogether, directly blaming Jay-Z. She posted, "Okay, I'm not going to put out the album anymore. No more music. Hope you're happy."
A partnership. You know, he gave artists some ownership, including J. Cole, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna. And then when he sold the company back in 2021, Nicki Minaj had always said that she felt like she wasn't paid out what she should have been paid out. She was only offered $1 million at the time.
Now at sea, by Barbs. Now, most folks took this with a grain of salt because artists threaten retirement all the time. But the fact that she was willing to put her entire career on the line to make a point, that tells you how deep this beef runs. Now let's get to the moment that really set everything off, the 2026 Grammy Awards. On February 1st, 2026 at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, Trevor Noah's hosting the show for the 6th and final time. And during his opening monologue, he decided to take some shots at absent celebrities, including Nicki Minaj. Check out exactly what he said.
The audience went crazy. Chrissy Teigen was caught on camera giving a thumbs up and the whole arena was cheering. They were essentially clapping for the fact that Nicki wasn't there. And that's when Nicki absolutely lost it on X, formerly Twitter. What happened next was one of the most intense celebrity meltdowns social media has ever witnessed. Nicki went on a full tirade that blended spiritual warnings, conspiracy theories, and personal attacks. She started by calling the Grammys a ritual, posting, "As they do their ritual tonight, God Almighty will reveal himself to them. The ritual will backfire on them. God will not be mocked." Then she came for Trevor Noah directly, making homophobic accusations about his sexuality, saying Trevor refuses to come out the closet when everyone in the industry knows his boyfriend, allegedly. She even threw shots at Chrissy Teigen, alleging that Teigen has had allegedly. She body shamed Lizzo, calling her a fat, loose-skinned flop. Completely unprovoked, by the way. But here's where things got really wild. Nicki started posting images of Jay-Z with Aaliyah, implying some kind of inappropriate relationship when Aaliyah was underage. She captioned the photos, "What in the blank? Child predator." She then made broader accusations about the industry, claiming, "Are y'all understanding that these BPL have been sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power? If you ever vote Demon Rat again, you're just as soulless as they are and will perish. Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult. The jig is up." She tried to link all of this to some evil essentially saying that there's some kind of massive conspiracy involving child exploitation among powerful industry figures. Now look, I gotta keep it 100 with y'all. The claims Nicki was making about Jay-Z and Aaliyah got fact-checked real quick. See, Aaliyah was born in 1979, and any documented interactions between her and Jay-Z happened when both of them were adults. The underage situation that people actually know about with Aaliyah involved R. Kelly, not Jay-Z. There was also a manipulated photo of Beyoncé that Nicki shared, but it turned out to be cropped from a Destiny's Child group photo and taken completely out of context. Social media users were quick to point out the irony of Nicki making these accusations when her own brother, Galani Maharaj, is serving a life sentence for child sexual assault, and her husband, Kenneth Petty, is a registered sex offender who was convicted of attempted rape. One user commented, "Explosive allegation without facts." Another said, "The context was way off. She's making accusations that don't hold up to basic timeline scrutiny." Now, here's where the story takes an even wilder turn, because to understand Nicki's current state of mind, you gotta understand her political transformation. See, Nicki wasn't always rocking with Trump, not even close. In 2010, she called out Trump's misogyny in an MTV documentary. In 2016, she dissed both him and Melania during a concert. Her song Black Barbies had the line, "Island girl, Donald Trump want me go home," a direct shot at his anti-immigrant rhetoric. And in 2018, when families were being separated at the border, Nicki posted on Facebook, "I came to this country as an illegal immigrant or as 5 years old. I can't imagine the horror of being in a strange place and having my parents stripped away from me at the age of 5. This is so scary to me. Please stop this." But by 2025 and 2026, complete 180 fam. Nicki started attending events like Turning Point USA's America Fest, praising Trump as handsome and calling herself his #1 fan. She even showed up at a White House event where Trump was launching something called Trump Accounts and pledged hundreds of thousands of dollars to support the initiative.
She also received a Trump Gold Card, something that promises fast-track residency and citizenship. Now, some folks speculated that this might be related to the fact that Nicki, despite living in America since she was 5 years old, still isn't a U.S. citizen. And with her husband's legal situation, that gold card might come in handy. The backlash, the receipts, and the fallout. At the Turning Point USA America Fest in December 2025, Nicki really laid it all out there. She talked about her political transformation, what drove her to this point.
So why now? Have you been involved with speaking about politics? What was kind of the turning point for you?
Yes. What was the turning point? Well, I just got tired of being pushed around. Yeah, sometimes you just get tired of it, and then you realize.
Y'all, Nicki Minaj is back on X, and she's coming for Jay-Z. So in a series of tweets, Nicki Minaj is claiming that Jay-Z owes her $100 to $200 million so far.
Wait a minute, I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there.
That's right.
So when you had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't even know who they are. So I'm not gonna back down anymore. I'm not gonna back down ever again.
Amen.
She also took shots at California Governor Gavin Newsom, calling him Gabby Poo and going in on his policies.
Oh, Gabby Poo, it only gets worse from here for you, buddy. It's the end of the road for you, my love. Get on the nearest jet ski and let that beautiful hair blow in the wind. It'll make you happier than this race that you will not win. Enjoy life. Peace. Okay. One more. Why not?
Now, I say all that because people think that Jay-Z coming out on stage with his wife in Paris to do N-words in Paris was to distract from all of this Nicki Minaj stuff.
Y'all are ridiculous. I want to say something, though. If Rock Nation controls all of social media, how come they can't stop everybody on social media from spreading all the negative stories about them?
About Beyonce.
Imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Haha, not even a trans adult would run on that. Normal adults wake up and think they want to see healthy, safe, happy kids. Not Gav. The Gav, not in. Gav out. Send in the next guy. I'm bored.
The thing that really raised eyebrows was when Nicki started reposting anti-trans content from the White House and echoing Trump's positions on LGBTQ+ issues, which felt especially wild coming from someone whose fan base has historically been heavily supported by the LGBTQ+ community. The fallout from Nicki's political shift has been intense, ma'am. Reports say she lost millions of followers, with fans posting videos of themselves destroying Nicki merch and breaking up with her over what they see as a betrayal of the communities that supported her career. Actor Billy Porter went on record saying F her and all of them in response to Nicki's MAGA transformation. Even her rivalry with Cardi B took on a political dimension, with Cardi calling Nicki's Trump support embarrassing. When asked about the industry backlash at America Fest, Nicki's response was classic.
I know that you're getting a lot of backlash from your own industry. What is your reaction to that?
I didn't notice.
Amen. I feel the same way. When people are like, what do you think about them? I'm like, I don't think about them.
Bingo. We don't even think about them. We don't have time to. We're too busy building, right?
Yeah, we're the cool kids. Okay, the other people, they're the ones who are still just disgruntled. But really, they're just disgruntled with themselves. They are angry with themselves.
Now, the beef with Jay-Z isn't the only.
She felt like Lil Wayne. She feels like Lil Wayne should have been the performer at the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
Drama Nicki's been caught up in. Let me run through some of the other situations that have folks talking. After journalist Don Lemon got arrested following an anti-ICE protest at a church, Nicki went on social media calling him Don Coke-sucking Lemon is disgusting and celebrating his arrest with "lock him up." When people called her out for the homophobic slur, her response was simply, "and?" Some folks on social media even speculated that Nicki might have had something to do with his arrest through her new Trump connections, though that's never been confirmed. Her beef with Megan Thee Stallion has also continued to simmer. After dropping the diss track Bigfoot in 2024, which mocked Megan's shooting by Tory Lanez and even referenced her late mother's death, Nicki has continued to throw jabs. When that lawsuit against Megan and Roc Nation was allowed to proceed, Nicki was online celebrating and making Megan's Law jokes. So where does all of this leave us? What's the real story here? Look, there's a few different ways to look at this situation. On one hand, Nicki's title claims do have some legitimacy. If she really was promised equity in that company and promoted it heavily, only to get offered a fraction of what she was owed when it sold, that's a genuine grievance. The music industry has a long history of screwing over artists when it comes to business deals, and Nicki wouldn't be the first artist to get played. The Super Bowl situation with Lil Wayne is also a fair point to raise. Wayne is a New Orleans legend, and having the halftime show in his city without him did feel like a missed opportunity to a lot of people. But on the other hand, some of the accusations Nicki's been throwing around,
Lil Wayne and sort of the things he's gotten into, the random things, run-ins with the law, whatever he's had over the last few years, that would not be typical of the brand of the
child predator stuff, the satanic ritual claims, the child predator connections without receipts. That's where she loses a lot of people. Those are serious allegations that require serious evidence, and the fact checkers have pretty thoroughly debunked the specific claims she's been making. And then there's the hypocrisy angle that critics keep bringing up. How can you accuse other people of being around predators when your own husband is a registered sex offender and your brother is serving life for assaulting a child? That's the elephant in the room that Nicki hasn't really addressed. What's interesting throughout all of this is that Jay-Z himself hasn't said a single word publicly. Not one tweet, not one statement, nothing. The only indication that his side is paying attention is that reported cease and desist order threatening $5 billion in defamation damages. But other than that, complete radio silence. And honestly, that might be the smartest move. Why engage when your opponent is out here making unsubstantiated claims and alienating their own fan base? Sometimes the best response is no response at all. At the end of the day, the question everyone's asking is, what happens to Nicki's legacy? She's undeniably one of the most influential female rappers of all time. The records she broke, the doors she opened, the impact she had on fashion, music, and culture, that's all real and documented. But these past few years have been turbulent to say the least. The album cancellations, the retirement threats, the political transformation, the conspiracy theories, it's a lot. At America Fest, when asked what legacy she wants to leave behind, here's what Nicki said.
Well, that is okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. You don't have to, sometimes there's a lot of things projected onto you when you change your own mind. They project fear, shame onto people who don't think and do as they think and do. But I've traveled the world. I've performed for crowds, huge crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this, because this is a direct link for younger people. This is a direct link between young people and God. And there's been a lack of that. There's been a lack of that. So there you have it, fam. That's the full breakdown of the Nicki Minaj versus Jay-Z situation, from the early collaborations to the title beef to the Grammy meltdown to the political transformation. Is Nicki exposing real industry corruption, or is she spiraling? Is Jay-Z really out here sabotaging careers, or is Nicki creating narratives to explain her own decline in relevance? These are questions that might never get fully answered, but one thing's for sure, this drama ain't over yet. Check out our other videos and click on the boxes for more content. Till next time, peace.